All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the most ambitious and, frankly, terrifying intelligence operations ever conceived. What you think you know, that's just the official story. You remember the Human Genome Project, right? Huge public celebration of science, mapping our DNA for all mankind. Well, it turns out that was just the cover story. Behind the scenes, another project was running in parallel, a secret one, with a very different goal.
That's right. For 4 decades, while the world was being told we were mapping our shared humanity, a covert program was hunting for the opposite. They were looking for the specific genes that make us different, the ones that code for intelligence, for resilience. They weren't just reading the book of life, they were looking for a way to weaponize it.
Now you might be wondering, how could a project this audacious even get off the ground? To understand that, you have to rewind the clock. Because before the CIA got into genetics, they were already deep in the business of human control. And their training ground had a name, MKUltra.
On paper, MKUltra was about research. It was born out of Cold War paranoia, this fear of brainwashing being used on American soldiers. So the stated mission was defensive, but as you're about to see, its true purpose was something much, much darker.
What started as a plan to understand brainwashing quickly spiraled into a mission to induce it. The focus shifted from defense to offense. The new goal wasn't just to understand control, but to achieve it, to pull information out of people's heads and manipulate them, whether they wanted to or not.
And the lengths they were willing to go, they're just staggering. We're talking about everything from dosing unsuspecting people with LSD, to hypnosis, to developing biological agents. They even researched methods for creating and implanting totally false memories. Absolutely nothing was off the table.
And you don't have to take my word for it. This is from one of their own declassified documents. The objective, right there in black and white, control of the activities and mental capacities of individuals, whether willing or not. MKUltra set a chilling precedent. Science could be a tool of absolute power.
So, with the proof of concept established, the next phase began. This one was bigger, it was quieter, and it would last for decades. It was a mission to collect the raw data for a new kind of weapon. It was a global DNA harvest.
See, if you're hunting for very specific genes, for traits like intelligence or incredible endurance, you can't just sample anyone. You have to go to the source. You have to find populations that have been genetically isolated for centuries, whose DNA is like a pristine biological archive, holding the very secrets you're after.
And this right here, this is the paper trail. Look at these 2 documents. One is from a World Health Organization paper in 1964. The other is from the Human Genome Diversity Project proposal in 1991, nearly 30 years apart. But the language is almost identical. Same justification, same sense of urgency. The mission was hiding in plain sight for decades, disguised as academic research.
And the scope of this collection effort was just massive. A truly global operation. We're talking about indigenous groups from all over Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The Pygmies in Central Africa, remote tribes in the Amazon, even the Basques in Europe and Aboriginals in Australia. They went everywhere.
They showed up posing as anthropologists and public health workers, and they took blood, saliva, tissue, whatever they could get. Then, those samples were shipped off to biorepositories, where they were immortalized. That means their cell lines were kept alive, frozen in time, creating a permanent, exploitable library of human DNA.
So, why? Why go to all this trouble? Why build this unprecedented genetic library? Well, it all comes back to the main goal: to find specific, useful, and ultimately weaponizable traits, to find the genes that could be used to build a better soldier. One of their main targets was a variant of a gene called monoamine oxidase A, or MAOA. This gene helps regulate chemicals in your brain, and a specific low-activity version, MAOAL, got linked to heightened aggression. It earned a very ominous nickname, the warrior gene.
And if you think this sounds like science fiction, just listen to DARPA, the Pentagon's own advanced research wing. This is from a report on one of their programs. The goal is explicit: to meld man and machine, to transcend the limits of the human body. They're not hiding it.
Okay, so this is where it all clicks into place. Remember that global DNA harvest? Remember those isolated populations? Now look at this chart. Look at the prevalence of the so-called warrior gene. See where it's highest?
in the very same populations they were targeting for collection. It's not a coincidence. The data they were collecting perfectly matched the traits they were hunting for.
And it went way beyond just aggression. Oh yeah, they were looking for the whole package. They were hunting for genes linked to superior athletic endurance, higher cognitive ability, even resilience to PTSD, and the ability to adapt to extreme environments. They were trying to map every single trait that makes an effective human weapon.
And that brings us to today. For decades, a lot of this was just data collection. It was theoretical. But thanks to recent breakthroughs in technology, the endgame of this secret project is now terrifyingly real.
You can see the progression so clearly. It's like a ladder of control. Step 1, use crude psychological tools to learn how to manipulate behavior. Step 2, create a massive global database to map the human source code. Step 3, learn how to rewrite that code.
The technology that changed everything is called CRISPR. You can think of it like a find and replace function for DNA. It makes the process of altering a living genome incredibly fast, cheap, and precise. The theoretical concept of a genetically engineered human is now a practical, achievable reality.
And believe me, this research has not stopped. It's just out in the open now, with new names. Current DARPA programs are building directly on this foundation. You've got projects that can read your entire life's history from your genes, programs using brain implants to control PTSD. The mission is alive and well.
But the super soldier is only one possibility. The truly sinister application of all this data is the creation of genetically targeted bioweapons. Imagine a virus engineered to attack only people with specific DNA markers, a virus that could target an individual or an entire ethnic group using the very data they collected.
This 40-year operation has completely changed what personal information means. Your genetic code, your medical history, that's not a private file anymore. It's a battlefield. It is a tactical map. And the only question you should be asking yourself is, who's reading it